Hello, today we're using AppLivery to deploy a shared business contact list from Contactzilla to an iPhone's native contacts app. The setup has three parts. First, we'll generate an iOS mobile config profile from Contactzilla. Then we'll create an iOS policy in AppLivery and import that profile. Finally, in AppLivery, we'll use a device audience and an automation rule to deploy that contact list to the right iPhones. So I'm looking at my AppLivery dashboard, and I really like their approach to scoping and assigning to devices. And I've got an iPhone enrolled here, which I've tagged so that it appears in my Contactzilla device audience, and we'll see how that works shortly. So over in my Contactzilla dashboard, you can build your contact list in Contactzilla in a number of ways. You might import your contacts from your Microsoft Entra tenant, from Google Workspace directory, or a CRM of your choice, CSV files, and of course vCards as well. And I already have a contact list here that is ready to be deployed, Lakeview Central Directory. So to create the iOS profile, I'm going to go to Device Connections here on the left. And for the connection type, I'll choose iOS. And then under the team member dropdown, I can assign this connection to an individual Contactzilla team member. And that works well if one person wants to set up the address book on their own device. But because we're deploying this through an MDM, I'm going to assign it to an MDM user. And if you haven't created one yet, we can go to team members in the bottom left here, and we'll select MDM user device only access. So the email address here is just a reference for the MDM deployment. It does not receive an email or create a user login. So this can just be whatever makes sense for you. And I'm going to click add. And now at the bottom, I can see that that MDM user is available. So I'll go back to device connections. And this time I'll choose the MDM user that I've just created. So I'm going to leave the label sync method on its default setting. And next I'll choose the access level for this device connection. So full read only is the safest option. It lets users see the shared contacts on their iPhones, but prevents accidental changes to the master contact list. And then we have full read-write, which allows users to add or edit contacts in the shared address book. And if you do choose that option, you can also enable block deletes to help prevent unwanted contact deletions. And then the third option is selective read-only. So you don't have to send the entire address book to end users. You can choose one or more labels, and I will pick a couple here. And only contacts with those labels will sync to the device. But I'm going to go with a full read-only, and I'll also enable the lock emoji so that it's clear to the end users that the contacts are read-only. So I'll enter the number of devices that this is intended for, and then I'll click create. And here is my iOS device connection. And if I hit setup, I can download the mobile config profile that we will upload directly to AppLivery. So here I am back in the AppLivery dashboard, and we're going to create the policy that will install this Contactzilla address book on the iPhone. So I'll go to Policies, and I'll click Create Policy. And for the platform, Apple is already selected. I'm going to call the policy Contactzilla iOS Lakeview Directory, which is the name of my address book. And we want to make sure empty policy is picked in the templates, and then we're going to hit create. So we're going to hit the add configuration menu here on the left. We're given an impressive list of different types of configurations here, but Contactzilla has already created exactly the configuration that we need. So I'm going to click on import, and rather than paste anything in, we will just click on upload XML and select our mobile config, which we downloaded earlier. I'll hit preview, where AppLivery will show the CardDAV payload in our mobile config, and then we can hit import. So under summary, we can see that although our policy has been created, it's not yet assigned to devices, and I can assign it to individual devices here. But if you prefer a more automatic method, then AppLivery uses device audiences and automation rules. So I'm going to save my changes to this policy. I've already tagged my test iPhone in AppLivery. And I have a device audience that includes any device with that Contactzilla tag. So next, we'll create an automation rule so that every device in that audience receives this policy. So under automation and then automation rules, I will hit the create automation rule button. And I'm going to name it deploy Contactzilla address book iOS. And under device audiences, I will select my device audience. Under actions, if I click on add policy, I can choose our Lakeview directory policy. When I hit save, AppLivery will apply the policy to the devices in the audience and contacts will appear almost instantly. So let's pull up the iPhone here on the left, and you can see I currently have no contacts. So I'm going to hit save in AppLivery. And you can see the Contactzilla address book is populating already. And because Contactzilla labels sync as lists, the contacts are organized on the device perfectly. So let's go into the emergency contacts list here. And if I view these same contacts in our Contactzilla dashboard, and I will filter down to the same emergency contacts group, and I'm going to take this contact here as an example and click on edit and make a change to the name. And when I hit save, let's just pull up our iPhone again. We can see that that change has filtered through already. So we've successfully used AppLivery to deploy a shared business contact list to an enrolled iPhone. And if you'd like to test this out with your team, please feel free to sign up to our Contactzilla free trial, and the link for this is in the description below.